Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to a new video, and I'll just start off with a huge thank you to all of you who commented on my community post. Yes, I lost my dad last week, and it's just a rough week, really rough week. So my wife said yesterday, she says, what have you doing? You've not been filming, you've just been kind of, just sitting in your office or on the couch, and it's not like you. And I just said, because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to deal with this. I've always been the guy that always had his parents, everybody else was going through stuff, and their parents were older, but my parents were young, so I had them a long time. So I'm grateful for that, but you just never think that day is going to come. And I'm grateful that I was able to share my cars with my dad and feature him on this channel several times, and I'm back on the horse. I'm going to video. We're doing the funeral in a week, and just been a rough week. Anyways, just thought I'd share that with you all, and just thank you for your comments and on that last post. And now let's talk about my other video that I shot. I filmed it. It took forever. It was long, and it was my follow-through on a promise to share with you all the whole story about the Demon 170. How did I get the thing at MSRP? How did that transpire? Was it a special allocation? Was it a what did I do? Was it because I'm an influencer? What's the story behind that? And what ultimately happened to that car? Well, I shot a video, but it was the entire story, from getting the car, which was the craziest story ever, to the end of that car being in the stable. And I've not done a video because those videos weren't getting views on the 170 anyways. And I made a decision with my family. If you've been following the channel, you could probably put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all together and come up with the answer, because in February, our life started to go really sideways. Things started to really go sideways with my dad. Things started going really sideways with our house. Things started really getting ratcheted up, and some changes had to happen. And the most logical one was the disposition of that car. And I go through it all on this long video that I shot. But because I was so incredibly thorough and detailed in this video, after I shot the video, I realized I don't know if I could post it here. I don't know if I should post it here, because I basically out some dealership defugalties. That was one of my dad's made-up words that we were talking about putting on his headstone, because you could figure out what that means. Some dealership issues, along with some Dodge issues, and I get into the whole in-depth, but I name people, I share emails. I mean, there's things I share in that video that I don't think any these people intent or wanted me to share, but I was never committed not to. But out of just respect, I was, I didn't want to incinerate people, and I didn't want to, create drama around what took place. But everything that happened was definitely out of the norm, all the way up until the end. And I remember telling my wife, I said, no, you know what? I do so much for YouTube that I believe that I take so much heat for a lot of the stuff I do on YouTube that, I'm just not up to hearing the crap about your Demon 170. If you follow me on Instagram, you know what happened. It was all over Instagram. But if you don't, then, follow me there. I mean, if you really want to know about this stuff. But here's what I also found out. What I realized is it wasn't a lot of people asking me about it. It was probably maybe, 15, 20 people, maybe less, that would comment over the last 6 months or 5 months, or whatever it's been, about it. And whether it's on Instagram, which they could have just dug through posts, or it was here on YouTube. So it wasn't enough people for me to feel compelled to say anything. Even in my last video, I think it was only a couple people when I talked about the DM170 values and the owners getting mad and hating on us for talking about those. I got a few posts or a few comments asking about it. So it's not prolific enough. So here's my thought. I don't feel comfortable posting it here, and I hope that makes sense. I just shared too much of, hell, I shared too much personal information about our life, about what we went through, that at a certain point, I've gone too far with what I share to the open world. So I put it on members only, because I do have some of you that are members, and I don't even remember what I charge. It was $7 or $10, something like that. I've never pushed it. You've never heard me push my members page, because I never want to be that guy that's pushing that thing on people and holding back content just to squeeze more money out of people. But this situation, it's only those of you who really want to know, those who are really supportive of the channel, because if I post that video on my regular channel, just right out here in the open, public, then all the haters are going to talk trash, and I got to deal with that for a couple days, and I don't want to deal with it. I'm not in a positive mental state right now with what's going on in my family, but I also shot the video, so I'm trying to think, what the hell do I do? Maybe in a month or so I'll flip it to public, but I just don't know about the private information and stuff that I shared in there. But it's like critical to the story, if that makes sense. Like, the whole story wouldn't make sense without that stuff. So I'm gonna put it behind the members wall. You could sign up and then cancel rapidly, and I don't know how that works. Maybe you end up paying 1 month or something like that. YouTube takes a whole bunch of the money, so it's not like I'm making a whole bunch of money on it, but it forces you to sign up, and it forces people who are haters to actually pay for the content if they want to hate on me. And if they want to be positive, well, then you're going to join, and let me know what you think in the members wall. So that's it. I won't go any further, and if you give me crap about it, if you want to watch it, if you're just dying to watch the video, but you don't want to have to pay to be a member and OC Motivator VIP on the channel, you don't want to do that, and you have this big issue with it, then maybe I'll stick it on a Google, my Google Drive or whatever, and if you email me and tell me I just can't swing it, but I've got to know, then maybe I'll send you a private link where you can watch the video or something. That way, it's not just about the money, but I just can't put it out here, and I want to know who's actually in there watching it. So, and if you do join as members, thank you, because this is a business, and I do want it to make money, and it has been, and so be it. So, if you want to be part of that, if there's enough people join as members, I'll make sure I put a bunch of content there of stuff that I would never share publicly for obvious reasons. I'm not looking to get into a bunch of drama with others, but there's stuff that happens that I just don't share openly because I don't need the heat to the channel. So hopefully that makes sense, everybody. Now let's jump right in. I'm sorry I took up all that time at the beginning, and talk about this awesome article. And I know this is going to sound like I'm gloating, and I don't know if I want to sound like that, but the dealers did so much damage through COVID and beyond, even right now with some of the stupidity with the prices some of them are still asking, that I can't help but to get a chuckle that these dealers, and I remember one commenter on one of my videos during all my markup videos said, "You think we care about you? The owners made so much money, so many hundreds of millions of dollars at this point, they could lose money for 10 years and it wouldn't matter. So we're not dropping the prices. If you want these cars, you're gonna pay it." It was like the most smuggest comment ever. And I was like, yeah, well, it's one thing making the money. It's another thing keeping the money. And anybody who's ran a business knows the good times are great, the bad times are really bad. And if you haven't put money away for the bad times, like my dad used to say with his plumbing business, then you will be out of business. And he stayed in business. I think he was a plumber for 58 years. So bottom line is, and he owned his business for probably 45 of those years or so. So bottom line is, good times are good, good times are great. I remember growing up, when things started to get really good, we had a lot of cool stuff. When things were really bad, the cool stuff went away. Well, the dealers now are going to have to find out what level of pain can they withstand, because in this article it says U.S. Stellantis dealers claim our products are not competitive. Stellantis U.S. dealers voice concerns over high inventory, uncompetitive pricing, and declining market share, seeking urgent solutions from management. And then they go through all the stats of these being the worst selling cars, and CDK going down, and them not being able to process anything through parts and service, and affecting the financials. I mean, you want to talk about whammy after whammy after whammy, getting hit with ridiculously high inventories, high interest rates. You've got crappy products like the Hornet. You've got only one thing to sell from Chrysler, and you've got the CDK disaster comes in on top of it. So the few cars you do sell, you can't even sell them. So now you're shut down, or you're doing things by hand, and it's just a disaster all the way around. And then you've got massive layoffs taking place, quality control issues taking place. I mean, it's one slam after another slam that these dealerships are taking. And part of me, and I can't help it but to say, we were telling them, you bet you're going to rue the day you messed with us customers. You're going to rue the day. You're going to look back and go, man, it must be something else that's causing us to lose all our money right now. Well, let's be clear. Ford did it. Toyota even did it. Other Chevy even did it with the Corvettes. We heard about that stuff. But nobody, in my very, I believe, educated opinion when it comes to cars, and especially Dodge, is no other manufacturer's dealers were more nasty, more shady, and more ridiculously just deceptive and game playing than the Dodge dealerships. Then the manufacturer comes in, and Dodge Garage made it even worse. So I would say, while yes, interest rates are a big, huge problem. Yes, the quality of the products is a problem. The pricing, they cite the pricing of the products escalated to a ridiculous place, and then they doubled down and added markups on these things, and add-ons, and the game playing and everything else. But there is a component that they left out of this article, which is you done pissed off your customers. First, you decided we're going to go to our bread and butter customers who were seeking out lots of value for reasonable and fair prices, which is how I got pulled into the Dodge world. I realized I can buy way more horsepower and have way more fun with a $50,000 car than I could with a $100,000 BMW or $130,000 Mercedes AMG. I could buy a Hellcat back then in the 60s and smoke those AMGs all day long. And yeah, maybe the interior wasn't the greatest or anything, but it was passable. Still isn't horrible. It's pretty dang nice as far as I'm concerned for what you're getting. No, it's not a Mercedes. No, it's not a BMW, but that's okay. I wanted to go fast. I wanted a V8. So it pulled me in. So they forgot who their customers were. They're looking for a much lower price point and a heck of a lot of bang for that buck. They're not looking to pay luxury car prices. And Stellantis started, especially watching what's taking place with the marketplace, started just riding that low interest rate wave because of COVID, along with the dealers, and started getting high-end luxury car prices. And the challenge is when rates go through the moon, and after they've treated us like crap for so long, and then they've got massive inventory, they end up having the dealers now literally crying the blues in this article. They are saying things like, in this letter they wrote, they asked Tavares, the CEO, to work with them on a recovery plan. It is stated that the The country's now more than 2,600 dealers are feeling the financial crisis, and profits are expected to hit their lowest point since 2009, the same year the company Chrysler Group went through a difficult period with the federally induced bankruptcy in the context of the global financial meltdown. So it goes on to say, the Stellantis U.S. dealer network is deeply concerned about the current state and future direction of the brands we represent, reads the May 23rd letter signed by Farish. Our products are not competitive in terms of invoice price, transaction price, leasing, or conventional financing. Many models are priced $10,000 higher than similarly equipped vehicles from our competitors. And then it goes on to talk about the crazy days on the market. The dealers are screaming this at this point, the same dealers that were charging ridiculous markups. And there's a little part of me that won't miss any of those dealers. I mean, a couple of them that did me right, okay. But for the most part, I had to twist their arms and dance through lots of hoops to get them to do me right. But in the end, these dealers are struggling. And that's why I think you're going to get deals. You're going to find 170s at MSRP, or maybe just a little bit over. You're going to find the remaining Hellcats, the remaining Scat Packs. You're going to be able to steal those cars. You guys know that stuff right now. And the dealers are going to need to do everything they can to clear their floor plan costs, because they're mounting and climbing. And when this EV thing comes out sometime this year, this Charger Daytona, it's going to be like the second hammer coming down on them, because those aren't going to sell super fast. They're going to be ridiculously expensive, and interest rates aren't going to be any better. So they're screaming to Stellantis to help them out, but Stellantis has so many problems right now that for Stellantis to throw more good money after bad and offer a whole bunch of incentives and a whole bunch of cuts and interest rate offers would likely hurt them even more. A good example right now is how they think they're going to compete with companies like Tesla. Right now, I get emails every day, Tesla offering a new introductory, actually just flat out interest rate for their Model Y. They were offering 0.99%, less than 1% interest on a Tesla Model Y. And then when that expired on May 31st, the whole month of June, they came out and said, for a Model 3, you can get it for 1.99% interest. After Elon dropping the prices, 3+ times on these cars, getting the prices down into the 30s and low 40s for dual motor, faster cars than these EVs. So how in the hell are they going to launch anything that's going to be less than $60,000 and not offer super low interest rates? By the way, with Tesla, you can get pre-qualified right there without a hard pull on their website. So they tell you whether you get it, and I'll tell you right now, I got it right away, and if I got it with all my car loans and craziness going on in my life, that means it's going to be offered to a lot of people. To get those introductory rates with Chrysler or with Stellantis Financial, in my experience, it's been really hard. And the dealers oftentimes screw it up and try to push you off to another lender so that they can get a margin on it and avoid having to go through Stellantis. So they'll tell you can't qualify, and they'll pick some reason on your credit why you can't. So I just think they're going to be double down with issues, quadruple down with issues. So this is an interesting article to hear. The dealers are going full ham on Stellantis to help them get rid of their cars, and Stellantis is literally doing nothing. So I'll attach this article in the description below. You can go through and read it, but it's pretty interesting to see that now the dealers are at odds with the manufacturer, and had they all just treated the customers better, kept the prices where they should have been, not tried to compete with luxury brands with ridiculous prices, right now they wouldn't be in this position. So I will end with this. 100% of the blame for everything bad happening, it turns out, at the manufacturer right now, falls on Carlos Tavares. And 100% of the issues happening at the dealerships right now fall on the owners of those dealerships. So they both did everything wrong. While other manufacturers and other dealers definitely did things stupid, I don't think any of them did things as stupid as these guys. So at this point, they made their bed. It's time to lie in it. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
All right, you ready?
I can't.
Shit.
Look at that.
Reminds me of my Triumph.
Yeah, right?
Trying to get out.
Let's see. See if we can make the front wheels come off the ground.
No.
Oh,